Okay, it looks like a few of you guys had a question on question number 4 on the review sheet. So, okay, let me slide it over. So, so you purchased a farm. Down payment $8,500. So the down payment would be made generally now, and then there were 48 semi-annual payments of $3,000. The first of these payments is to be made 2 years after the date of purchase. What was the purchase price of the farm if the interest rate charged on the balance is 14% compounded semi-annually? Okay, so now we just go back and read through it again and jot down the information. So down payment, so I just wrote down up here to remind myself, down payment $8,500. 48 semi-annual payments, so N is equal to 48. They're semi-annual payments, so payments per year is 2. The payments are $3,000. The first of these payments is to be made 2 years after the date of purchase. We'll take a look at that in a second. What was the purchase price if the interest rate charged on the balance is 14%, so interest per year 14, compounded semi-annually, so compoundings per year is 2. So we have all this information here. So I drew a timeline. So this is it's kind of meant to indicate the long lines is a year and there's 2 payments. So we pay $8,500 now, and then there's 6 months, 12, next 6 months, and then 2 years, and this is the first payment of $3,000. And then there's every 6 months there's a payment right up till the end, and that's 48 payments. The reason we're doing this is to kind of visualize what our deferral period is. So the first payment is made 2 years after the date of purchase, which makes our N 3. Some people might have used 4 because there's 4 semi-annual periods, but remember the payment, if we want it to be that the payment is at the end of the period, then the period starts here. So this period here would have a payment at the end. So that means the first 3 periods then would be the period of deferral. Here is when it would start. At the end of the period, there would be a payment. So that makes N equal to 3. Our payment, there are no payments in that period, so we change our payment to 0. Our interest, our compounding, all this stuff stays the same. But our future value, so we enter all this, and essentially what we're getting here then, that we're computing the present value. We're getting the value of the $3,000 payments at this point in time, at the 2-year mark. Now we need to take this value, so it was our present value here, now it's going to be the future value, because now we're looking at it from this beginning time period and we're saying this value here in the future, this lump sum future value, if we move it back, bring it back to our current time, so there's N equals 3 periods, there are no payments, the future value is what we calculated up here as the present value. Then we get a present value of $33,624.47. But then don't forget, at this point in time, there was also a down payment of $8,500. And the down payment, we don't do anything with. It was paid right now. So we don't have to try to bring it back to the present or anything. It is right now. So hopefully that helps you understand. So you enter your information, you get the present value of the payments, which is the present value at this 2-year mark when the payments start. Then we take that value, which then becomes our future value, and we bring it back to the present. The only little thing to remember is N is going to be 3 because we're looking at it from this area, from the 1.5-year mark, because that would be the beginning of the 6-month period. And at the end of that period, we would make a payment of $3,000. All right, hope that helps.